on the surface, I think it's fair to say that few would suspect that traffickers were moving multi-ton quantities of cocaine and marijuana in this very unassuming way in full view of the world around them, with really nothing more than a 3-foot hole.
That's the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of California, Laura Duffy, talking to reporters after Border Patrol agents discovered what has been described as the longest tunnel ever along the California-Mexico border. That tunnel stretched almost 900 yards from Tijuana, Mexico, into San Diego. Agents seized 1 metric ton of cocaine and approximately 6 tons of marijuana, all together valued at over $26 million. To talk more about the tunnel, what was discovered, and the implications, we're joined via Skype by former intelligence officer and the former advisor to General David Petraeus, Colonel Derek Harvey. Colonel Harvey, this was some kind of sophisticated tunnel, a great ventilation system, elevators, a track system. We could go through the debate on drugs, but here's my problem. If they're able to do that under the nose of our authorities on the border, it ain't only drugs and it ain't only people. There are clear national security implications, are there not?
Clearly there are. You know, it's a vulnerability that we've known about for a long time. And these narco groups have the wealth to invest, and it's part of the cost of doing business. What I'm concerned about is the transactional relationships that are developing between terrorist groups and these narco groups in Mexico and Colombia and Latin America in general. It's something we need to worry about. And I think, JD, it's just like our home. You know, we have to have security. You put an alarm system, you put good windows, strong doors, you have lighting, and you have to be vigilant, and you have a neighborhood watch. And we need a robust effort along our border. And we need to be very concerned about making sure that it's financed, resourced, and executed effectively down there. Unfortunately, all 3 of those are not happening today. Border security is not resourced, it's not executed very well, and it's not led very well.
And this is this continues to be troubling right here on our back doorstep. Now, around the world, President Obama finishing his visit to Saudi Arabia, addressing the partners of the U.S. in the Gulf there, again promising to take on ISIS. Let's take a listen to the Commander-in-Chief.
We remain united in our fight to destroy ISIL, or Daesh, which is a threat to all of us. And the United States will help our GCC partners ensure that their special operations forces are interoperable, and GCC nations will continue to increase their contributions to the fight against ISIL and the coalition that we've formed.
What about that, Colonel Harvey? Are our Gulf partners really going to ramp up efforts against ISIS?
I think the president has, to put it mildly, overstated the case. We are not united because we don't have common goals. Yes, there's a common struggle against ISIS on one level, but we don't have common goals for the region, and in the relationships in particular, you know, they are very tense and complicated, as the president has said in the past. So we don't have unity of purpose, we don't have a common goal, and without those 2 things, we're going to have a difficult time bringing everyone together.
As you know, Colonel Harvey, there's legislation to allow 9/11 families to sue Saudi Arabia if there was involvement by the Saudis in 9/11. 28 pages of the 9/11 panel are still top secret, classified. Should those be released, and should those families have a right to sue Saudi Arabia? 20 seconds.
Well, I think the Saudi government has even called for those 28 pages to be released. I think the DNI, General Clapper, is reviewing, that's the Director of National Intelligence, is reviewing the content of those 28 pages. And I think those should be released. What I think we're going to find, though, is that you're not going to be able to connect the dots to Saudi government support for the 9/11 hijackers.
And Derek, we will have to leave it right there because connecting the dots, sadly, we're out of time. Colonel Derek Harvey, we thank you for your insights. Back with more after this.